So I talked to my daughter last night. Well, this morning it was at 4 a.m. She's alive. She's wants nothing to do with me. She really blames me for herself. However, she sent me a picture. She is afraid to show emotion. She's afraid to show facial expression. She's afraid to really talk. But when she does talk, she knows to switch the conversation to try and make it your fault and exaggerate. So realistically, my child is being taught how to be an abusive woman, American woman, or being raised with abusive Sharia-law, or I don't know, she's on a lot of medication and she's very judgmental and something's really going on wrong with her. But she's alive. She wants nothing to do with me. So it's I just have to focus on myself. But she's alive. It is very disappointing that my daughter wants nothing to do with me, especially considering her father's girlfriend is morbidly obese and jealous of my looks. I think it's very unfair. However, my daughter's being taught not to work and to be lazy like her father's girlfriend and her father. I know that's not the right path. So if my daughter doesn't want to speak to me, I can't change that. I'm just going to focus on myself. I'm going to work as the hard-working American I am. And I'm going to earn money because, that's what you do. All of this, mental abuse, all of this, talk, it means nothing, honestly. I get that as we get older, we settle and we become stagnant and lazy and scared. And, we have the nerve when we're young. But some of us are only born, survival mode, and, our education isn't necessarily school. It's not oh, let's teach them about credit cards and loans because tomorrow they could go home because their parents have starved them or they get beat when they're home and we don't even know if they're going to be alive. Then there's people who whose families literally use them to fulfill the family, but really didn't give a fuck about that individual. So it's their education really doesn't matter. So it's I'm one of those people. I know shit that can have you survive. You'll be dying and you can cure yourself and live. That's the kind of person I am. Because I've had to heal my kidney, my liver, and it's not from drugs or alcohol. It's literally from emotional abuse and psychological abuse. Because I have lupus. And I have a really abusive stepfamily that abused me so bad it caused autoimmune and blood disorders. How crazy is that? And I also have a blood family, both sides, that are extremely abusive and toxic as well, which is why I only got more abusive and toxic people, right? So as I got older and I got away from these people, guess what? I'm better. Look, I'm in literally the best shape of my life. My arms have never had even somewhat shape, and now they do. I don't over-excessive eat. I eat healthy. I go towards foods rather than to give me a drug addiction because I'm miserable. I go for foods that will actually nourish my body. Isn't that crazy? So it's it sucks what is happening with my daughter. However, I'm not in a place and she doesn't want anything to do with me, and not for nothing. The life that she's being encouraged to live because of all of my blood and step family and her father's family, and the way they live and the way I live is completely different. So with that being said, why does it matter if someone has an address? If they got a phone, in this day and age, everything is email. If they can get to the job, they're clean, they're good, what does it really matter where they live or their personal life? But just let them fucking work. They probably work harder than these people that grapple onto each other for fucking shelter and support. So my daughter was taken from me and put with extremely toxic and abusive and lazy and non-productive people for the world. So she likes to act and tell me that I act inappropriately or I'm mentally ill. However, I'll give you an example. I am constantly discriminated against in public by strangers because nicotine, because of this family. So last night, I'll give you an example. I was where there's seating areas sitting, minding my own business. Security comes, even though it's not on the property. It's right by the road, as a waiting area. They decide to like linger and circle me. However, there's another one up the road, and guess who was at that one? A black female that was like black, like born black, not just like gets the color. So like, you know, realistically, they let me stay or whatever, but like they made me uncomfortable and circled me, and I lived with the fear of being kicked out because I'm black, but like I'm like not, you know what I mean? So like I have to be able to speak. Now my daughter, she doesn't really know like how the world works because I shielded her from like the abusive stuff, but she's not really allowed to speak either, and I think that's wrong because it's like she's very whitewashed, and I don't think a whitewashed person should even have to make decisions or know about anything that I do, because like you do better for your children. That's why they don't know about your life. And like, you know, no one should have to bow down to someone who's survived, you know, but you shouldn't be able to force that person that survived to weaken themselves or be less than who they are, because they will never be able to survive like that because they are expected more of by nature. So it's like, I think people need to just accept their lanes, and every single adult, like, hello, Anyssa Ancona is 34. She should be allowed to make decisions for herself. And that's for Ava Grease Grimm. Yeah, she should be allowed to when there's decisions that, like, the other people can't make. Sorry.